Frictional games, before bringing the world the critically acclaimed Amnesia to the darkened rooms of many a horror fan, brought to us the series from which inspired the horror adventure they've become so well known for. This game was Penumbra. Penumbra, released back in 2007, followed the story of Philip, whom after being sent a letter from his estranged father, uses what clues at his disposal to track him down to Greenland. Upon his arrival, Philip gets himself trapped within an old mining complex, and with nowhere to go but further inside, begins his search for answers as to what happened to his father. What follows is an adventure that forces the player to push ever deeper into the darkened abyss of mines, bunkers and facilities, piecing together what information they can to discover what went on. Penumbra, first and foremost, is a stealth adventure. Using its sophisticated physics engine, players must both solve puzzles and deal with the threats in the world in order to progress. In the first game, Overture, there's also a fairly crude combat system where you would have to control the swing of weapons using the mouse, but at the same time sacrificing your freedom of movement. Some would say that this was just poor game design, but considering it's a horror game, these mechanics actually help to make you feel at a disadvantage against the game's threats, to feel vulnerable, and to push the player to choose stealth and avoidance over killing everything in their path, like many other survival horror games. In the sequel, Black Plague, and its expansion Requiem, they removed the combat system altogether to make you feel even more helpless in this world of constant danger. That said, the focus of the games was never on its threats, but more its puzzle solving and story elements. The physics engine throughout the series was used in finding the solutions of many of the game's puzzles and roadblocks, giving you a certain degree of choice in how you find your solution, as well as being used to avoid or stall your enemies long enough for you to make your escape. Old diaries and logs from soldiers, miners and scientists reveal a story of strange discoveries, horrific events, and a secret society trying to learn the truth, while the game's few and far between voiced characters help add to the eerie mystique of the games. Overall, Penumbra is a different approach to the horror genre of games that holds up exceedingly well, even with its somewhat dated execution. The sense of dread at what lurks around every corner, the terror-inducing combat, and the maniacal ramblings of the wonderfully acted character of Red makes the first game, Overture, an especially great example of what makes a good horror game, with Black Plague and Requiem only building slightly upon what would eventually become the fantastic Amnesia, but would, in my eyes at least, be one of the greatest horror games of our time.